guys, welcome back. Have you played against the new chess archetype? I have, and let me tell you, that was oppressive. So yeah, I filmed a casual game. I realized I haven't filmed and talked about a casual game in a while. So me on Fairy Tale Magistus versus Elfnote Angelici. So yes, the Angelici cards and other Chaos Origin cards that you're going to see in the footage, they are proxies brought to you by Bad Printer Proxies. The printer that printer that's, I really should get a new printer. They are really, really bad proxies. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk through this match and talk about what the Angelici stuff does and how I did playing Fairy Tale Magistus against it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so Elfnote Angelici won the dice roll, which is gonna make a difference because the Angelici board, along with the Elfnote board at the end, is so oppressive. So Regina, activate to special. If Regina is special summoned to the middle zone, we are going to search. I am going to go ahead and chain a Fua. Now, I will say on the chain of the Fua, I feel like going into the next format, Perulia is going to be the better main deck option. Elfnote summons a lot from hand. I know Cool Tune summons a lot from hand, but I've heard that it doesn't really impact them as much to get Perulia, but Blitzclick summons a lot from hand, and I'm not entirely sure if the Light and Darkness deck is going to do any of that either. But yeah, I am debating putting Perulia instead of Fua. My logic for not doing that yet is because Fua is a level 4, and if you have Genia of the Ring, because again, I'm playing Fairy Tale Magistus, you can target the Fua, make it into a spellcaster, and then attempt to do full combo. So going to go ahead and summon out Fortuna. I will get my singular draw. I'm pretty sure for this entire turn, I only get a draw off of that Fua. So the Fortuna is going to set the continuous trap. And then Terminus is going to send and search. Sends the Elfnote Power Patron, and I believe search is, not Medius. Actually, it was the Genora. So we scale, not Genora, Vidolium. Scale Vidolium. I am not sure if current Elfnote decks, if this is like common. Let me know if you play Elfnote, if the deck that he's playing, including all the Power Patron and the scaling and stuff. I'm not sure if there's if this is already pure Power Patron, but as you can see, it searches and places a lot, and then so it really worked around Fua super well. I also want to point out that I do realize the way that I filmed this, my field spell area is not very easy. You literally can't see where I put my field spells, and also his graveyard is a little out of it. Okay, so I do believe in this first game, I think he's able to do some Angelici stuff because the way you can even synchro into it. Go ahead, and he did a tribute summon. I thought this was smart because I admittedly had not. Tribute summoning is something that I know exists in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I very often forget that if you have a higher ranked monster than a level 4, if you have a higher than level 4, you can tribute summon. So he tribute summoned the Lucina by sending the Fortuna. Then he's going to activate Rhapsodia, sending the Search Tinia in order to bring back the Fortuna. We play against each other enough that he realizes stopping my spells. I have a field spell in Fairy Tale Magistus that if you bounce that back to hand, that's gonna do a lot of damage. So I'm pretty sure that was, if I had to guess, his logic on having the Fortuna over the Tinia. The Tinia random banish from hand is also super annoying though. So, and then you go ahead and does some more Power Patron plays, sets 2 and passes. Anything in draw? Yep, there is going to be something in draw. This is me thinking that there's a smudge on my called by. It wasn't. It was literally just the card art. The card art, not card art. Yeah, literally the card art. Okay. Let's start talking about Angelici. So I know that this trap card was the if you are going first way to basically kick off everything. I will say the way that this was used against me, and I do think the way to kind of use this is more you set it. Or sorry, this is if your opponent's going first. Because he won the dice roll, I only encountered this trap through the use of it being set and then activated in draw phase. So let's go ahead and just read it. It says, if your opponent goes first, you can activate this card from your hand during the standby phase of the first turn. This card, Alphonse, we're trying to learn Angeliki, is kind of crazy. It lets you place the Angeliki field spell from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up on your field. And if you do, you get to special summon one level 2 or 7 Angeliki monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. And if you do that, you get to place one Angeliki monster from your extra deck in your spell trap zone as a face up continuous spell. And then it locks you into synchros, which is perfectly fine. So this, I think where running Elfnote Angeliki so hard is you got to like, okay, fine, you stop the Elfnote engine. If they have a way of getting into this trap, it's crazy. I'm trying to think what hand traps you could do against this. It's you're placing, so you're not even searching. It does have the ability to special summon from extra deck, so I think that's what you're interacting with. Another thing that was pretty annoying about playing against Angeliki, just letting you, he's explaining it to me. Just letting you know, if you haven't played against it, they're placed as continuous spells traps. They're not equipped or like they're not attached to a monster. So, I do go ahead and chain bad though. So I am going to go ahead and get my special summon. And this will not count because he doesn't have the, whatever I special summon, he doesn't have you can only do 5 activations out yet. So that was another thing. Anyway, back to the stuff being continuous spells traps. So I have been playing Fairytale Magistus, and so I am used to when monsters are in the continuous spell or in the spell trap area, they are equipped to something, which means if you just put the monster face down, the equips go away. If you just go to battle phase and you attack over the monster, you send it to grave, the equips go away. That is not the case with Angeliki. So Angeliki, they're just there. So you have to knock them out one by one. And one of them, I forget which one, it'll probably pop up, protects the others from destruction. One of the Angelikis protects the rest from destruction. So you have to get through it twice. You have to destroy the one that protects from destruction. Okay, so here's all the stuff that happened. This was literally a chain 1, chain 2. That's it. Chain 1, Angeliki opening to E4. Chain 2, Ved. Ved, I'm going to go ahead and summon out Rigatoni. Angeliki opening to E4 is going to get these cards, all 3 cards. It's going to set the field spell. It's going to summon either level 2 or 7, and it's going to place. I believe he summoned the Knight, the Drestrier, and places the Bastion. I believe the Bastion, when it's placed, lets you place the King. So, off of one card, chain 1, chain 2, all of this happens. Yeah, so he places the Bastion, summons the Knight, and then chain 1, Rigatoni to search. And then I believe he also has trigger effects. Yep, the Bastion is going to let him place the King. And I believe it is the King that limits. Let me see if I can make this big enough to read it. Okay, I just had to pull the cards up on my separate monitor. So the King, Angeliki Shatranga, says that you can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. That's if it's a synchro. If this card is placed in your spell trap zone as a continuous spell, you can add one Angeliki trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use each of the preceding effects of Angeliki Shatranga once per turn. While this card is treated as a continuous spell, your opponent can only attempt to activate, meaning it doesn't even have to resolve. You can only attempt to activate up to 5 monster effects per turn. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's so many. Only 5? No, it's a problem, especially for someone who's playing a combo deck that does rely quite heavily on being able to do all of the things that I need to do. The Drestrier or the Knight says that you can target one monster in another column and banish it. If it's in the spell trap zone, you can add an Angeliki spell from deck to hand. And each time your opponent activates a card or effect, so doesn't even have to resolve, not even just monster effects, activates a card or effect, you burn them for 500. And then Bastion, when it is in the spell trap zone, says, while this card is treated, oh, this is the one that protects. So Bastion, if it's placed, you can place the king, Kshatranga, from your extra deck. And then while this card is treated as a continuous spell, other angelic cards on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So you see the issue is that the Bastion is going to protect the other. So you have to either non-destruction get rid of them, or you have to get through the Bastion and then get through the rest. So the perk of this, and we did have to look this up, but it made sense. So really, when I search Ved, the Kshatranga, to which then I'm going to chain Ved, is not. It's once it's on the field. So you get 5 monster effects once it has resolved. So because I was able to do the Riliona, prior to that being on the field, that did not count as one of my monster effects. So luckily, it is monster effects. I think if you play anything that's spell heavy, it's not going to impact you as much. I definitely think going into this next format, I think we're going to be seeing chess is oppressive. This archetype is oppressive. I think we're going to be seeing people adding it in to things like Elfnote. And so, yeah, give me your ideas for how we clear, how do we like non-target destroy, just the different, how do we make sure that we get rid of this? So yeah, this was him looking up to see if it is after, if it counts monster effects prior. So we had the conversation. I was like, well, I don't think it would count any monster effects you did before, because like, what if you don't get Kshatranga out until I've already done like 6 or 7 of the monster effects? Like, it's not going to be able to do that. It also is important to note that it is not just, oh my gosh, they really made it any monster effect anywhere. So where I feel I messed up, because now I'm limited to 5. I'm starting fresh as 0 now, but for my turn, I'm limited to 5. I do not think I should have sent Jenny. I think I should have sent Sventa, because then Sventa, I could have equipped Ninaru, and then I could have gotten rid of the Bastion. That's the hard thing. I would have gotten rid of the Bastion. I don't know how I could have gotten rid of the like actual issue of locking me into 5. So I don't know if it would have worked out the way that I'm thinking it would have, but sending Jenny felt like it limited me with even trying to start dealing with stuff versus where I could have gotten rid of at least the Bastion. So I tried to activate Fairy Tale Ball. There we go. Fortuna's going to bounce it back to hand because it has to stay on field to resolve. I'm not able to resolve Fairy Tale Ball. So luckily, he does not have the burn for 500 every time you attempt to activate something. That one, the Knight, is actually currently summoned. You can see in the extra monster zone. So I go ahead and I equip Tails to Riliona. That works fine. And then I go ahead and attempt to activate Tails, to which he is going to chain Lucina to bounce to the middle. That is going to bounce Riliona back to hand, which means that Tails is not going to be able to resolve because it has to stay on field in order to resolve. So I guess that's probably, honestly, I did have the instant fusion. We had a conversation after this game if I should have done instant fusion first. I don't know if it would have made a difference. That was kind of my logic of like, I wanted him to try to burn interaction. I also did forget that Fortuna, if you bounce back a normal spell card, it would still resolve. So instant fusion getting bounced back would have ended up being fine. So I don't know. Maybe I should have done instant fusion first. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you think how I layered this, if I could have done it better. But what I just realized is the Lucina, the Fortuna bounce back to hand. I think that's kind of the, what cards bounce back spells traps? Because I think that's the way to try to deal with the Kshatranga, the king that is not going to let me do more than 5 monster effects. I can't destroy it because Bastion's protecting it from destruction. What cards could I play? Genuine question. Please let me know in the comments. What cards can I play that either bounce spells traps back to hand or equip? because I even thought like, okay, what if I get into the Magistus Synchro? He equips and then destroys. So I guess that's how I could have gone through it, is had I done Spenta, I could have Ninaru to get rid of the Bastion and then try to figure out a way. I could have instant fused into, that's maybe how I did it. Ninaru to send Spenta, Ninaru to pop the Bastion. I think I would have had to do Fairy Tale Ball first, though, to get the Fortuna to not send it back to hand, because it's not a quick effect. So I still would have had to do Ball first to get the Fortuna interaction out. And then instant fusion into the Magistus Zerora in order to negate something he does, and then pop the Shatranga, and then maybe that's what should have done. Anyway, I instant fusion into Weaver. Thinking 5 steps ahead of yourself is kind of hard. It is the Angelic problem, as they said in the set introduction, trying to think through how am I going to be able to get enough interaction. June Pride came out. Okay, so I made Weaver, and everything got absolutely stopped, so I couldn't actually, it got dropleted, so I couldn't Weaver. So then I normal summon Riliona, because I have yet to normal summon. If you remember, that Riliona came off of the VED, which was nice. And here I am thinking, oh shoot, Weaver was my first monster effect, I believe, that I've done. So I'm like, how do I do this? So I go ahead and I link into Artemis. I believe my plan is to get Crowley, because I'm starting to think like I need to fuse to start popping stuff. So then I go in Endymion effect to get the Artemis. So that's going to be 2. He is keeping track on my Rose Quartz dice. Shout out to but I need to show you. I think I've showed my setup a couple times, maybe on like my Instagram and stuff, but like I really should show you. I'm a big fan of my setup. So he's going to chain Rhapsodia. He's to send and then summon the Tinia. I had the called by. And this was me remembering, wait, it actually needs to resolve on field. So then he's going to chain Elfnote June Pride. Let me pull up June Pride so I can read it to you, because this is another card that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of in this format. Okay, so June Pride says you can make it with 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner spellcaster monster. While this card is in the center main monster zone, neither player can declare attacks except with monsters in the center main monster zone. Also important to remember, I think it is the trap that locks you into only attacking the center monster. So the Elfnote trap means you can only attack into the center monster. June Pride, you can only attack with your center monster, and if they have the trap, into the center monster. During the main phase, if this card is in the center main monster zone, quick effect. You can return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon up to 1 Elfnote monster each from your hand, deck, and graveyard. Ooh, hold on. Now that I'm reading this, special summon, it says up to 1. Never mind. I was about to be like, wait a second, do you have to be able to do all of them? No, that's why this card is kind of busted. You can special summon up to 1 from hand, deck, and graveyard. So if you only have 1 in graveyard, you can just special summon the 1 from graveyard. You can special summon the 1 from hand. And then how you layer it, how you choose to then which one do you put in the center monster zone? Because then if Regina is special summoned to the center, you get all the things. He knows I'm going to try to go into Crowley, which is why he's trying to get the Tinia, because let's go gambling. We're going to try to Tinia switch to center in order to try to get rid of the Crowley that I'm going to get in hand. Now, the issue that I was currently facing is, like, even if the Crowley fuse goes off, like, with only 5, like, that's what made this relatively frustrating, is that I could have beaten through this board. I do think I layered things pretty well. Like I've talked about other, I think Spenta trying to clear it, spending resources trying to clear the chess pieces on the board. Being limited to 5 was not it. I was forced to run out of gas. Like, I could have still done stuff at the end of my turn, but like when I first heard 5, I was like, that's so many monster effects. right? And you hear people be like, oh, you do this, this, this. But like when you're having to also go into interaction, like I was trying to break a board, right? So it's not just like I can do whatever file. Like Weaver didn't go through. I had stuff that didn't go through that would have made it easier. Now, luckily, it does have to resolve for the Shatranga. So here he is doing Tinia, trying to get rid of the Crowley. He gets rid of my droll instead. So when gambling and lost, something important to note, and it'll come up later in the duel, is that Tinia only banishes till end phase. So it is important to remember that whatever does get banished, you are going to get it added back to hand, which wait a hot second. If Tinia did banish the Crowley and at end phase, it got added back to hand, I think I'd already triggered. I think I already said Crowley effect is special, and then he did the Tinia. So I guess you'd have to be like, if you randomly had Crowley in hand, and like you already had it in hand, and then Tinia banishes it, and it adds itself back to hand. Or is it added from deck to hand? I guess I could just read the card, and it would probably, if this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it. Wait a second. Okay, I mean, that's like a funny little piece of interaction that I'm not sure if it's ever going to happen. This is me realizing I have one more monster effect to use. And I guess it's going to be Zerora. I'm actually not even sure if I use, because Zerora is a ignition effect. So I make Zerora thinking, is there any way to get rid of... See, this is where I could have done it, actually. So here's another, I talked about something I could have done differently. Had I sent Spenta instead of Jenny, Spenta banish, equip the Ninaru. Ninaru to pop the Bastion. And then if he activates an effect, well, but see, that's 6. No, because Ninaru is a spell. So Spenta would have made 5. I'm at 4 right now. So Spenta would have made 5. Ninaru could have gotten rid of the Bastion. I would be relying on him to utilize an effect for me to do the Zerora. Because at this point, actually, I couldn't even activate Zerora to pop it. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, this is, I'm like, get that dice off. Let me read this. Super annoying. Because I wouldn't have even been able to activate the Zerora. I'm pulling up Shatranga again so I can read it. While this card is true, your opponent can only attempt to activate up to 5 monster effects per turn. So Spenta would have made 5. Ninaru as a spell, as a continuous spell, wouldn't have counted because it's monster effects. Could have gotten rid of the Bastion. But I still have to pass. Because I can't even activate Zerora to negate. I can't activate Zerora to equip. I can't, like, I'm stuck. So, I'm realizing that I'm gonna end up having to, I'm down to my last monster effect, and I was, like, really struggling with figuring out what to do. Let me know what you would have done. I end up settling for Jenny just to get another monster out. And actually, I think, because I could have probably, whatever I summoned, I could have sent, I believe, Zerora. I'd have to read the card again, but I think Zerora for the negate just sends a Magistus monster. But let me look it up to see if that's true, because that could have been something as well. So it says, you can target one effect monster. Quick effect, you can send one face-up Magistus monster card you control to the graveyard. So, I mean, there's that, is I'll have, you know, had I done Jenny, I don't remember if I do Jenny to summon a Magistus out. I don't have to send Zerora. Okay, so, okay, here's what we were talking about, is he's letting me know, like, hey, once it gets back to my turn, the knight, that is special summoned into the extra monster zone, is going to be able to banish a card in a different column. He's like, so if you want to, like, think about where you're summoning. So basically, whatever I summon, if I summon it in the same knight as the same column as the knight, that won't get banished. The Zerora is going to get banished, though. Like, oh, he's going to immediately, that's the piece of interaction I have. Why wouldn't he try to do that? So I was like, okay, so I should beat over that. Like, I should attack into the knight because I don't want you to banish my stuff. And he was like, fair lady, princess, you see. He did not say that. He pointed out the trap, right? The trap says you have to attack the center monster. And I am always so conflicted with giving Elfnote a turn 2. Do you attack into the center monster and free up the zone? I mean, because that's the whole thing, right? Is that they can special themselves to center. Now, Regina maybe has made that a moot point. Perhaps now with Regina, because they can send whatever, maybe it doesn't matter. So what I ended up doing, and I really think I should have summoned a Magistus in order to send. I don't know if it would have mattered. Had I summoned a Magistus, I could have sent that Magistus as the cost for the negate. Because once we get back to my turn, once we get to his turn, I'm going to be at 0 on the monster activations. I sent Snow just to try. Now I have 2 interactions, right? I have Zorora and I have Snow. I do not know if I should have attacked into the Tinea. Let me know your thoughts. So, of course, he's going to do the Dressdreer. I'm going to chain because I didn't summon a different Magistus monster. I have to send Zorora, and then I get to destroy a card on field. I'm not worried about the 5 effects, so I go ahead and I pop the Rhapsody of Madness, hoping that it gives him less interaction, less things to do. Now, at this point, my only piece of interaction is the Snow and the Droll that I forgot to add back to hand during end phase from the Tinea Banish. Shout out to Dalen, who came up to us as we were playing and was like, is this a new archetype? And was like, wow, these cards, they look really bad. And I was like, because they come from Bad Printer Proxies Incorporated, where we just be printing them on this really bad printer. Yeah, it's funny. People walking by, like, if they saw it, they were like, man, Yu-Gi-Oh's really gone downhill. The quality, the print quality is just terrible these days. Yeah, if I make you your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they will be. So he is going to do some more Power Patron plays. Vidolia is going to allow him to, I believe it's a search. He's going to get beep, 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 Prohibited Power Patron Portal Terminus. And at this point, I am going to Droll. I just also had the realization, I don't think he activates it, though, because that would have locked him into attacking with Power Patron. And so I actually wonder if I shouldn't have. I don't know if the Droll ended up changing his mind on any of that. Oh, something that also I cut it out from this game. After I fooed, because I had the Droll in hand, I had Drolled one of his searches, but then I realized that the Droll was going to mess up my Fua. Thoughts? I don't know if because I only got a draw. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want to draw your search because I want to get draws off Fua. Fua only gave me 1 draw. I honestly wonder, had I not chickened out about the Droll, because he let me take it back, because I was like, no, wait, never mind, sorry, like, I forget Droll locks both of us, like, yeah. And so he was like, oh, you can take it back. And I was like, okay, yeah, like, I don't want to Droll you because I want to be able to draw from Fua. You don't really get draws from Fua with Elfnote. So I actually think I probably should have Drolled. And then I don't think he would have been able to get the opening to E5 or E4. I don't think that was in his opening hand. So looking back, I almost think Drolling Elfnote is better than Fuaing even if it stops. But I don't know then, because then he could have done a lot more extra deck. Let me know your thoughts. I don't know if it would have made that big of a difference. At this point, he knows I have Snow, so he's just trying to make sure that he is going to have enough damage on board. And the way that Elfnote tends to swing for damage is with Regina, because then Regina is going to allow you to you attack, and then you send whatever you attacked with to summon Regina, and then you attack again. He's just making sure that there is more than enough damage to get through the Snow. I immediately Snow. let me know your thoughts. I don't know if I should have waited on the snow, especially because Regina can send, I think they can send it face down. Oh, wait, I think that, well, but he had 2. What do I end up snowing? I think I do end up snowing one of the Elfnotes in order to, I think Lucina had the highest attack. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and flip face down the Lucina. It's not going to matter though, because he's still going to have enough damage. So that'll punch through. Tinio will punch through. The Knight will punch through. And then he'll be able to get Regina out. So, game 1 was a loss. And something, again, I'm not sure how much. The chess is relatively generic. So I am curious if we're all going to be in the same boat of trying to figure out how do you get rid of those continuous spells, especially when one of them protects from destruction. So let me know, stuff that bounces back, stuff that equips. I opt to go first, and we're gonna fairy tale ball, search Luna. I find, and I've had this conversation with people about Yu-Gi-Oh! That apparently it's a good thing to be at a point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you are succumbing to the dice roll. I probably could have layered that last game better, but the joke I make with my boyfriend who I'm playing against is always like, well, you won the dice roll? GG's, buddy, you're going to get it. Because it really is, I know that people make the joke about Yu-Gi-Oh! Of like, isn't it just like whoever goes first combos and wins? And combo deck v combo deck seems to be the case. So my Luna normal summon, chill. And then my Jania search also went through. Jania target the Luna in order to special herself. I am now logged into spellcasters, which is fine. Oh, another little thing that I tried in this game. Okay. Look, I know I was a little shit about not wanting to do the Charmer link. Okay, I know I said some things. I know I didn't want to do it. But I finally looked in the mirror and I said, Raina, try it. You don't have to admit it's the best optimized version, but try it. So I tried it with Summon Sorceress. Did not like Summon Sorceress. Alphonse can feel my shame radiating, and that's why he's boofing. I did not like Summon Sorceress. I get the searching of the Droll. I get the Droll is good. I felt like it was a little gimmicky. I was not a fan. But I really like the Charmer Quartet. And so I added in Charmer Quartet and I added in Celine. I know. I probably just should have listened to people sooner, but I've always done things my own way. I came to my own conclusion. Alphonse came to my own conclusion. Took me a minute, but I'm on the link train, baby. I'm a follower. I'm sorry. It's a good card. So at this point, Wiccat went through. I sent Match Girl. I sent Snow. He chained Magnuma. And honestly, I don't know if you can see my hand. I had Once Upon, so I was like, oh my gosh, please banish one of my fairy tale monsters. He banished Match Girl because he didn't want it to be able to summon back and get my search. But I have Once Upon, so now I get 2 fairy tales for the price of 1. The Magnamut stopped me from summoning 1. And instead gave me 2. I probably would have held on to the Once Upon longer, just to be able to potentially snow and then get back stuff. But yeah, that was honestly one of the better pieces of interaction I could hope to happen to me, was to have the Once Upon a Time in hand. If I didn't have the Once Upon a Time in hand, I think we would. I mean, I think we would have been. I think it wouldn't have gone well. He goes ahead and chains Harmonia. We talked after this game that probably chaining Harmonia on the Luna, because I already committed my normal summon. Now, the thing is I did have Genius to summon out, and then potentially I could try to do some type of Artemis play. I mean, I did have the Once Upon a Time in hand too. So for this specific interaction, I don't know if him doing Harmonia earlier would have made a difference. So Harmonia reveals 5. He's going to go ahead and send them along. I didn't even realize this. I misplayed. When he Malong Engrave sends back the Luna. So off of the Harmonia, he's going to pop the Wicket. That's the only choice because Wicket protects the light fairy tale monsters. So Wicket had to be the choice. Off of the Malong Engrave, whatever he sends back, I could do an additional normal summon off of Tales of the Fairy Tales when I equip it from grave. I totally forget that. So Malong, he's going to end up sending the Luna back to hand. And he says after the game, he was like, that was like a bad choice because then you could have normal summoned the Luna again with Tales of the Fairy Tales equipping from grave. But lucky for him, I didn't do that. I forgot. So I admittedly, kind of another reason that I had been hesitant of adding in the links. I am getting faster at learning Yu-Gi-Oh, but my brain was so focused on like, how do I make this stinking charmer? I started forgetting things I should know, right? Like I had been so good about the additional normal summon off of Tales of the Fairy Tales coming from graveyard until this game. And I was like, I got lost in the sauce. Not to spoil anything, we end up being okay, but I definitely did misplay. So I go ahead and Tails, I equip it to Match Girl, and then we are going to go ahead and activate Tails in order to fuse. I don't know if I use the Luna from hand to do this. So I'm going to go into Weaver. This is going to take a Spellcaster and a Fairy Tale. Oh, I don't. I use the Crowley. So yeah, see, I still have the Luna in hand. So that was a misplay on my part. Go into Weaver. Weaver is an ignition effect, so just checking if there is anything on the Weaver summon. That is important to know. If you're playing against Fairy Tale Magistus, Weaver is ignition. So if you have a way of getting rid of it, that's kind of a good point to do so. So Weaver is going to let me summon from Banishment or deck. I don't have anything in Banishment right now, so I'll go ahead and just summon from deck, and I think I just put out another Luna. Yep, they're going to go ahead and just put out another Luna. And here is where I am trying to think of different lines. Like I'm trying to think of like, okay, how do I get the, how do I make the Charmer Quartet, right? How do I do this? So I forget the re-equip from grave. Weaver is going to trigger when you summon a non-earth fairy tale to negate and rename. So I go ahead and negate and rename the Harmonia, which is now a Prince of Fairies. And if Weaver's out, all Prince of Fairies are also spellcasters. And I don't do the additional normal summon of the Luna from my hand. I really should have. That would have gotten more resources. Who doesn't want more resources? But I do use the Luna from hand and the Weaver. Not the Weaver, the Luna from hand and the Harmonia in order to summon out Teller. And then I do the trigger effect of Teller to blow up the board. He has one monster on field, so that'll be minus 500 for that card that was destroyed. And then at this point, this is normally where I would end. I would end on the Luna interaction, the Teller, Omni negate and destroy, and the Weaver, if I have a way to summon. Now, the Weaver is kind of dead in the water, and this is where I'm saying having potentially doing the extra normal summon of Luna. I don't know if it would have helped because I guess I would have searched Genia. So Weaver really only works when you can summon a non-earth fairy tale on your opponent's turn in order to trigger the negate and rename. Not having Once Upon isn't great. And I don't think I have Snow. I do have Snow Engrave. So that's kind of the only way I'm going to be able to trigger it. I'm pretty sure I have Snow Engrave if I sent it earlier. So this is me saying, okay, let's try doing some link plays. Let's do some link plays. So we're going to go into Artemis. We're going to go into Endymion. We are going to equip the Artemis. And this is me going, wait, I don't have the Crowley. Do I have to use the Teller to go into the link 3? I do the Artemis search anyway. A little bit of deck thinning. We're going to search Spenta. And I'm trying to think, okay, how can I best get into Selene? We will activate Spenta, discarding to search. Believe I searched Zerora. Like, honestly, at this point, it's like, let me just get something in hand. Search Zerora. Oh, in terms of siding, I think you saw it. I normally don't main talents. I also sided in accusations, which I don't think is that good against this deck. I'm going to be real. I'm not sure. So then Spenta to equip. I really didn't want to get rid of the Teller because I wanted to bring Weaver back, which looking back, like, I don't know if it would have mattered. So I go ahead and I just equip Dinaru because I just need 2 monsters to go into Chorizo. So once I have Chorizo out, now I'm like, okay, I can go into Celine. I will point out it was a little iffy. This is me counting that I had 3 spells. So I have Tails, I have Once Upon, and I'm trying to think what else I had in Grave. I think it was Ball. No, it couldn't have been Ball. I know I have 3. And I know it was close. I know I had exactly 3. And then we had the conversation where I was like, oh, this seems like hard to get 3. And he's like, yeah, well, normally though, like the way you do it with Magistus stuff is you this is me going like, how do you always make sure you have 3? The goal is not to go with your equips into Chorizo. The equips also count. So anything you have equipped also counts towards the 3. Something important to note is Celine does not negate. So that's what we were reading. That's what we were figuring out, which is super cool that Celine doesn't negate because then you can actually utilize whatever you summon off of her. So I took off the 3 spell counters. Celine is going to allow me to special summon a spellcaster monster from hand or graveyard in defense position to a zone that she points to. This is me checking to see, do I need to be careful about what I summon? Because I'm going to use it to go into the Charmer Quartet, and I am not entirely sure if it matters, like what I have. I needed to look at the materials. So Charmer Quartet is a good card. I guess I can admit the Charmer Quartet's a good card because of the materials that it does take. So let me pull it up. So Charmer Quartet takes just 2+ monsters. That's it. For a link 4, it's kind of crazy. It just takes 2+ monsters. So Celine's my link 3. And then this is me spending way too much time thinking about what in the world am I possibly going to summon. Because I was realizing once we had the conversation of like, oh, it's not actually going to be negated. I was like, ooh, what could I do? And then I was like, nothing. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to go ahead and get out the Luna, go into the Charmer Quartet, bring back your Weaver, bring back your Luna. See, I'm trying to see what other, I know I had a 3rd spell in Grave, and so I'm trying to like watch my hand to figure out what that 3rd, it was Tails, it was Once Upon. What was the 3rd spell that I had in Grave? I'll have to do the playback on this because it's going to kill me if I don't remember what that 3rd spell was. Hi, it's me from the future. I can count to 3. I can count to 3. I'm about to give myself so much grief in the rest of this video for not being able to count to 3 when the reality is that I just can't remember what I do. So I do have 3. Once Upon, Tales of the Fairy Tales, Fairy Tale Ball, the field spell that you can't see. You can't see it. So that's why I thought I couldn't count. And then I got really mean to myself because I thought I couldn't count. I can count to 3. Allegedly. Okay, anyway, back to your regularly scheduled thing. I don't think I had 3 spells in Grave. I'm sorry. I bring shame. I bring shame all the time. I'm sorry. There probably was a way, though, for me to get into another spell, which is why I'm like, I don't think it was, like, the worst. The worst defense, because I think it's only Tails and Once Upon in the graveyard. So what did I count? What? Man, sometimes I'm like, what is my brain doing? So then I bring back Weaver, I bring back Luna. See, I'm looking at my Grave and I'm like, what did I have? What did I count? I wonder if I thought that the Ninaru was like counting as a spell because at one point it had been equipped. But anyway, so I think I probably still could have ended on this board with some finagling. And it definitely matters if you count a face down spell as a counter for Celine. I brought back the Weaver. I brought back the Luna. The Weaver was honestly slightly pointless. I'm not sure if I should have brought something else back. That's what I'm saying. I think I even could have used the Teller to go into some of the... I think using the Teller, here's how I could have worked around that. I equipped, right? And I had the Artemis and the Ninaduru as equip spells. I could have just used the Teller and Endymion to go into Celine, I think. So Celine takes 2 monsters, including a spellcaster monster. So yeah, that's how I could have fixed the cheat. I could still have ended on this board. I wouldn't have had Weaver, which is probably for the best. So I still could have ended up with Charmer, because I could have kept the Ninadu as an equip. And then I could have used the... Well, no, because if I use the Endymion, it goes away. Could I have gotten out of the cheat? Sorry, I'm like hard stuck on trying to figure out what the heck did I do. Okay, anyway, here's a new card. Sorry. Pause. So we go ahead and we Fenrir. And then Witness of the Ancient. If you have a synchro monster in your field or graveyard, you could special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, and he has them along engraved from earlier, you can place up to 3 synchro monsters with different names from your extra deck or graveyard into your spell trap zone as continuous spells. So Witness of the Ancient just goes really well with the chess pieces. It's again brought to you by a bad printer proxies, Inc. Incorporated. So he's explaining to me what it's going to do. It's going to allow him to place up to 3. And then it also has the other effect of, well, not other effect. After you place up to 3, you get to special summon 1 arc token. And it'll have a level equal to the number placed. And also for the rest of the turn, you cannot, I think you're synchro locked into it. So I go ahead and crown. And we don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with the chess stuff. Okay, so we're not going to do that. Special Lucina, effect to search an Elfnote monster. I don't remember what I did in this case. Because that's the thing is I don't remember if I got... Yeah, I did get Snow engraved. So I do have Weaver to trigger the Snow. I'm thinking of a different game. Sorry. We ended up playing some games I didn't film. And there was one game where I had Weaver out and then literally no way to activate it. So I was like, that was just not great. So we'll trigger Snow. Or, yeah, not trigger. But we will utilize Snow. Chain Snow. We will then flip. I believe I flipped the Lucina face down because it's in the center. And Regina needs to see it as face up. I think that's what I was asking. I was like, if I flip it face down, can you send it for Regina? And I think the answer is no. I don't think Regina can send face down cards. But again, if I am incorrect, let me know. I'm also debating on the Weaver trigger that's going to happen. So, because if I rename, because the other thing too is I was like, well, I could rename the Lucina into a Prince of Fairies, but Regina just sends, oh, I do remember the conversation. Regina sends a face-up card. So renaming Lucina Prince of Fairies is not going to stop the Regina because it doesn't have to send an Elfnote card. It just sends a face-up card. So I am trying to figure out, like, okay, is it worth doing the chain on the chain? So Snow is going to attempt to flip the Lucina face down, and then he'll chain Regina to send and summon. And I think I chained Teller to that. Yep, chain Teller. Negate and destroy. Chain Harmonia. Revealing 5. The Harmonia was searched off the Bistral, of course. I feel like Konami really is trying with the... They really thought of everything with Harmonia to be like, how are we going to get people to buy this? Because it's searchable off pistols, which is crazy. Okay, so then we resolve the chain. Harmonia will summon, send, and then I don't remember what he sends back to hand. Oh, at this point also too, didn't end up cheating with it, but we both had a misinterpretation. We didn't understand Charmer Quartet. We saw Charmer Quartet was a quick effect. And we were like, oh my gosh, you could do that like also on your opponent's turn. It's once per turn quick effect while it's face up on the field. I did banish the Once Upon and the Genia for the snow, so that will trigger to do both, to add back. And at this point, he's looking in his grave. Like, what? I got no cards in hand. Can I synchro into anything with these things? It's kind of looking like it's kind of looking like we might go to game 3, folks. Kind of looking like we might go to game 3. I'm still stunned that I can't count to 3. Sorry. Like, honestly, in my brain, I'm like, we had a whole conversation. I was like, I have exactly 3 spells. This is so hard to make sure you have 3 spells. I need to have patience with myself because I'm learning. This was literally my first game running Celine. But you would think that you could count to 3. You would think all you had to do is count to 3. And apparently I couldn't count to 3. So I win, but I'm not proud of it. Because I'm pretty sure I jacked up my count. I'm pretty sure I did not count to 3 properly. So I don't think the Celine. I do think there's a world. See, look, I'm literally like spreading everything. Where's the 3rd spell, girl? What did you count to 3 for? Did he have a spell engrave? I don't think he had a spell engrave. Anyway, we go to game 3. And let me know if I could have fixed it. It never feels good watching these back and being like, oh, I won because I cheated. Because I'm dumb. So I'm like, I need more practice. I'm trying to practice before a Chaos Origins release. Okay, we're going to make sure when I go to that Chaos Origins release, we're going to make sure to count to 3. Okay, I go ahead and I Ash the Welcome Home. I have yet to figure out against Elfnotes what a good stop is, especially Power Patron Elfnote chess. This isn't going to do anything. That was my one piece of interaction. So we're going to watch him combo off because I got nothing. So we Strelitzia. Regina was used as synchro material. She adds back to hand. Strelitzia is going to bring back the Power Patron. This is going to allow him to get into Crystal Wing. Because, oh, you want to know? I'm going to spoil something for you. You want to know what I draw for turn? Nib. But, and I said that. I was like, I drew the Nib. If I had only had the Nib. He played around Nib, folks. He played around Nib. He got the Crystal Wing. So at this point, it's just us sitting here being like, oh, look at my cute little Butterfree. That's my Butterfree tattoo. It's looking pretty cute in this light. She's just with her big eyes and her little teeth. She's just looking adorable. Yeah. So Fortuna place the continuous trap. So just as this board is, if he was just like, you know what, let me just pass it. Let me just pass it over to you. I'm looking at the trap. Which then if you control a synchro monster is going to allow him to, what does it say? Negate the effect of a face-up card your opponent controls. We got the Crystal Wing monster negate. And it's not over yet, folks, because we are going to get the Magistus the Pure. Let me know your thoughts on the ultis. I want to see them in person. Some of the pictures I've seen of the Magistus the Pure ultis that are coming out, why has he changed ethnicities? Why is he no longer the same skin tone that he was before? The pictures, I think, are just bad pictures, but I'm like, this looks like a little too textured. I'm a Starlight person. I like shiny. Admittedly, ultis, I kind of get the allure, but like, I'm sorry, call me blasphemous if you will. Anyway, he goes ahead and uses the clutch null gainer, whatever, because there's your bridge, folks. If you're like, how do I get into the chest stuff? That guy that I had to find, like, it was very hard to find a picture with, like, the English text on it. And, yeah, that guy's going to do it. So what are we looking at right now, right? We still have Crystal Wing. We have Rhapsodia, the Elf Note continuous trap. We have you can only do 5 monster effects. We have every time you even try to do any effect, we're going to burn you for 500. And all the other Angelic-y cards are protected. Oh, and I'm going to get opening to E4 just because, like, what, like, that'd be so fun to use it on your turn too. Like, if, once we get more of the chess pieces. Oh, let's go into a Chaos Angel. Why not? And then, okay, let me read you Glitch Clutch Null Gainer. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add 1 level 8 or higher monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand. You want to know that does that? The Witness. The Witness. So you add Witness. You can target 1 monster with 0 attack in your graveyard, special summon it, but negate its effects. Also, it cannot be used as material for a fusion, synchro, exi, or link summon. Oh, man. I can't synchro summon. You want to know what card exists? You want to know how you get around that? And this is him explaining to me. He's like, it says I can't synchro summon. But there's this little worm. There's this little worm that lets you do that. Let me see if I can move my face so I can read you the worm. Cannot be synchro summoned. Must be special summoned from your extra deck, obviously, by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters you control with the same level to the graveyard. The clutch and the Witness, yeah. So now on top of the chess floodgates, a Chaos Angel, a Crystal Wing, a Rhapsodia, we have Ultimaya Tolkien. The lesser-known Tolkien brother has arrived, and he says once per turn, when a spell trap is set on your side of the field, you can special summon a Power Tool Synchro monster or 1 level 7 or 8 Dragon-type Synchro monster. I'm gonna let you guess. I'm gonna let you attempt to be like, what is he gonna summon off of that? We'll see if you're right. Is anyone guessing Power Tool? It might be a Power Tool. So he sets, and then that's going to trigger. And he's like, where's my Power Tool? Oh, just kidding. It's not a Power Tool. It's Zalin. It's your boy. He's shackled, but he's unchained because he's still a pain. Can you tell that this end board gives me, like, a deep ancestral rage? So your girl can't count to 3. Fault me all you will for that. But I'm playing into, I get 5 monster effects. Every effect I activate is going to burn me for 500. Things are protected. Chaos Angel, Crystal Wing, Rhapsodia, Zalin. If this card you control would be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. When a card or effect is activated in response to another card or effect activation, quick effect, you can activate one of... This thing makes you count to 3, which we already know I can't do, so I'm just absolutely screwed on that one because we already realized that was my weakness. Let's go ahead and set problem. For funsies, pass. Drew the nib, which wouldn't have mattered. I get to super poly away something, so that's good. Not really gonna be as much as okay, yay super poly to deal with two pieces of nonsense. Oh, I do want to play the new super poly target thing that's coming out in Chaos Origins. I don't know its name. It's a fusion monster. It takes a spellcaster and I think a non-spellcaster. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get rid of two things. We'll make Mud Dragon. Oh my gosh, now we only have to deal with the Chaos Angel, the 5 monster effects, the burn for 500. So we've already taken 500 to the dome on this one. You can see my hand. I'm like, oh, Man, this is gonna hurt. The thing too is that it's 500 for everything. So we're gonna go ahead and Luna effect to search. No, you're not gonna search. Why would you search when we have Crystal Wing? So that's gonna just be like, no Luna for you. And I was like, can't I chain Luna to send it back? Or like immediately, sorry. Because I could have chained Luna at this point, but I'm like, I think I need 2 monsters. I was like, can't I normal Luna and then trigger effect search and then immediately do the quick effect? And he was like, no, you have to give me opportunity to respond after the normal summon. So I guess you could normal summon Luna, not do the effect to search, and just immediately hold prio and quick effect to return. Don't know what good that would have done me though. So this is me reading and being like, wow, yeah, that does that. That do be doing that. So we'll just let the Luna's gonna go. Ball to search. Well, let's go ahead and do the Rhapsodia. I don't think it would have done me any good to have the Luna back in hand, especially because that now already the Chaos Angel's it's already used its stuff. So okay, let's go ahead and negate the ball. And I don't know what he's doing. Oh, at this point he was like, well, if you don't have anything, I'm gonna do this. And I was like, I do have something. I do have a quick effect. I have Once Upon a Fairy Tale. He was like, I think he knew. I think he was like, let's let her play her pathetic card. Because how do you go into this board? I don't have any bad feelings about chess. This chess archetype is gonna make me dislike chess. It's gonna make me dislike chess. I feel it in my bones. Yeah, so here I'm going through the stages of grief. I'm bargaining. I'm like, what if you just like, what if I get to Luna search now? Like, what if he's like, no searches for you. Your search, you, no searches. In fact, now I do all of the things. And I was like, what does this bird do? I don't know if you can tell, folks, as we're getting towards the end of the video. I don't win this one, which I shouldn't have, because I can't count to 3. That's going to haunt my dreams. I hope you guys know that I am harder on myself than anyone. Any mean comment out there, whatever. I've heard it before. I've heard worse. My brain is so hard on me for making mistakes. So maybe how I should end, as I'm about to absolutely get wrecked by this board, and just be like, and let's scoop it up because this isn't doing anything. We all make mistakes, and learning the game of Yu-Gi-Oh can be confusing and difficult, and there is no shame. There's no shame in not knowing something or making mistakes, and there is a difference between intentionally cheating and just sometimes the brain cell goes to sleep. Sometimes the brain cell logs out for the day. And I really do think part of what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! A difficult game to enter is the vast amount of knowledge that you need. There's so much. I mean, I have a whole Learn to Play series because I was like, there's so much more I could get. Like that series, I could do content on that, like to the most minuscule, like so much. And that can make people freaked out about getting into the game. I don't know enough. I'm gonna look dumb. I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm gonna look ignorant. I'm gonna be a bad player. And like the reality is, like, it doesn't matter. It's a fun game if you want to learn and have fun. And it's a hobby. It's funsies. Play the game. Enjoy yourself. Don't worry too much about not knowing. And if you ever go to a locals, or you over hang out with people, or you log into an online simulator and you're worried about looking dumb and not knowing what you're doing, I want you to think of me. Because I don't know what's happening. I know a lot and I don't know a lot. And that's just the name of the game. And you do not have to know everything about Yu-Gi-Oh! To enjoy the game and play the game. But if I had known more, maybe I could have not gotten my life ended by this chess. And boy, let's scoop it up right. So yeah, hope you learned to be afraid of chess. That's what I learned. And I hope you learned to count to 3. I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice hard tonight how to count to 3. Yeah, let me know what you're planning on playing for Chaos Origins. If there's any new cards coming out that you want to snag, that you want to get. I am going to try Blitzclick. I have come to some realizations that just my general view of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I play combo decks is probably why Blitzclick is making my brain hurt. And I'm like, why is this? I'm going to practice it. I also want to play Melfi, and I'm going to take my Fairy Tale Magistus, and I'm going to count to 3 right, and I'm going to take it to a Chaos Origin release event, and I'll vlog it. We'll go on that journey together. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Alphonse, want to say bye? Alphonse says bye. Alphonse also can't count, and everyone loves him. He's not very good at Yu-Gi-Oh! And he doesn't care, because he just wants to have fun. And everyone loves him. I think he sees himself in the screen. Oh, yeah. Oh, who is that? Who is that? Who's that handsome devil? Okay, catch you on the next one.